was uploaded to this. We read Walls Chapter 1. Today we're going to read Walls Chapter 2 by the author. Sorry for the noise in the background. My window's open again. And my cat's purring.
By the author Purity Angel, I believe. I don't have it pulled up right now. Hold on. Purified Angel. I was close. So last time I was like horrible. Like I stuttered at everything. I tried reading through this already. There are some double words and some bad spelling. So if I mess up, please understand that is what I'm trying to figure out. Other than that, I'm tired, so it's 11:19. So yippee. So let's get started. She had heard it all before, but here he was giving it to her again. Leah, I understand that, but marriage is good for the family. Father, you clearly don't, as I have stated many of times before. I am not getting married to a man just because they are wealthy. What about that? Do you not understand? The part where he said that you wouldn't get married to a man just because he was wealthy. Bringing more money to the family, it helps. She sighed and rubbed her temples. It's like talking to a brick wall. She had, of course, mumbled that to herself. God forbid she would ever let him hear her say what she just said. We don't need any more money, honestly. I don't understand this huge obsession that everyone has over money. Our family is connected to the England's queen. We have more than enough money coming each week. Most of it we don't actually need. It just sits there. Scroll down. Okay. In the kitchen, preparing for what that evening's meal, was head chef Jeremy, who had asked for the aid of Ash since the butler had nothing to do for a few hours. So, Leah, she's a real burner, right? Jeremy was definitely from London. His accent was so strong, but was the complete opposite to Ash's. He had a more raspy voice topped off with the stereotypical rural living man, as he wouldn't actually pronounce letters and sometimes not finish a word. But the sentence he spoke left the white-haired man with an expression that showed utter confusion. A what? A burner girl. You don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do ya? You posh slut never get what I'm saying half the time. No, I haven't the slightest clue as to what you mean. Do you mind informing me? Of course not. The chef ran his hand across the stubble on his chin. Well, it's a girl, obviously, but she's well educated and quite independent. She also has great opinions and is very aware. But a downside to all that, well, she has a childish sense of humor. The white-clad butler thought for a moment. He thought about the characteristics that Leah held. She was, of course, educated, having that she has some sort of tutoring every day. She did like to have control over things and do it independently. She expressed her opinions, and they were mostly good. She did hold that flaw that he referred to. Having a childish sense of humor. I suppose she could be seen like that. He looked in the direction of the chef, where the chef was standing. He looked confused. Jeremy, is there a problem? I've forgotten the spices, have I? Well, I'll go get it. I'll be a minute. Just like that, he walked off. Alright, I'm gonna add another chapter, so we're gonna read another chapter today. Yay for you guys! Gotta let it load. My computer's being really slow. And again, I'm sorry for the background noises. Yeah. Hold on. Being slow. Can it not? Can it not? Hold on. Almost there. Okay. A smile. A contagious one that she wore each and every day. One that made others smile back. In reality, no one could be frustrated at her when she wore it. It seems to soothe the soul. The lady and the white-clad butler walked through the woodland, following a paw print that had been made in the dirt by Pippin. It was a quiet walk, and neither of them minded it. The silence was never awkward, just relaxing. The white Pomeranian was in a world of his own, and as he happily led the way, often breaking into a small sprint, but only to stop and see if the pair were still following behind him. Is there anything else left to do today? She turned her head to the side, tilting her head upward a little due to the height difference between them. Well, ma'am, I believe you have finished everything on your schedule for today, so you are free to rest for the rest of the day. They returned to the manor, and Ash took Leah's coat and hung it up. Before the two made their way to the living area, Pippin following alongside them, of course. In the room sat John and Marion. He was staring down at his newspaper while she held a cup of tea to her lips. Ah, Leah, you're back. Well, I have news for you from London, for obvious reasons. We are behind on everything about this place since Victoria decided that we would be better off in a different country. Honestly, she thinks she can control everyone and anything she lays her eyes. John, you're doing it again, Marion interrupted his small rant. She looked over to her husband with a somewhat tired expression that she had, and an earful of this before. Doing what, my dear? He seemed confused, as if he hadn't recognized that he started to ramble on to himself. Going off topic, talking to yourself. You've been doing it a lot recently. I am? Oh. Anyways, around 2 months ago, there was a fire in London. Strange thing about it was no one knows what or who could have caused it. Once he finished speaking, John placed the newspaper on the table that stood before him. Wait, so there was a fire and no one knows at all what exactly happened? She questioned her father. Surely there must be more to this. Yes, but I'm thinking that, what's your name again? A finger was pointed at the butler with white hair. It's Ash, sir. Ash, how ironic. Ash is left behind after a fire and moved shortly after. The nobleman always tried to catch people out, solve things when they hadn't already been. What are you getting on to, father? The blonde girl rose a brow, wishless speaking. Ash arrived here just short of 2 months ago. Victoria allowed her personal butler to leave work for another household in a different country. Are you fleeing from something? What do you know about this fire, Ash? John neared the butler, clad in mostly white. Well, there was a fire, started under unknown circumstances, and it happened 2 months ago, and a lot of people died. John became frustrated at the butler's reply. He had recited exactly what was spoken before. You've just repeated. He didn't get to finish. A small white Pomeranian stood in front of John, barking because of a raised voice. Leah took this as a good opportunity. Right. On that note, we need to finish something. My apologies for leaving soon, mother. She took Pippin into one arm and took hold of Ash before Before leading him out of the room, with a door closing, came a small sigh that left her lips. I'm sorry, he does that a lot. Accuses people. But ma'am, you don't have anything to do. There it was again, that contagious smile. I'm sure we can find something.
I'll read one more episode. I'm gonna read it. You know what? We're just gonna end it here. We're gonna end it here. I do hope you enjoyed it. I will be reading this again. Probably gonna end up updating tomorrow because, bored out of my mind on a long weekend before school starts again on Tuesday. But yeah, I shall upload again tomorrow. I promise. So that's it. Wait. Just in case I didn't say this before, I'm definitely not going to be able to update on October 24th, December 20th, April 11th, and June 1st because those are concert dates that I have to go sing at for a chorus thing that I do by myself. Alright, so I shall go. Bye, my little sweetie.